Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawudah, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and our will. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here lesson real quick, which is basically dealing with the times that we're entering into right now. It's like the scriptures say, victuals should be so good cheap they should think themselves in a good case. And as they're flooding the so-called market with all this here money, stimulus packages and everything like that, that's pretty much, rocking these people to sleep. Because the majority of these people, they're not keeping up with the news and economics and things like that. So they don't realize that, I was watching this documentary the other day about mass shortages, what's causing all these shortages. Matter of fact, I watched a couple of them. They were going into basically how, the certain supply chains was broken down and everything like that. And really, they, with a lot of things here in America, you have that, I forgot how they worded this, basically on not a need to know basis, on demand basis, so, when you look at a lot of these grocery stores, they don't really have too many back storerooms and things like that inside the grocery store. They get shipments, more than once a day, but nevertheless, you have a mass exodus from a lot of these major cities like New York and San Francisco and stuff like that, where people are moving. But then a lot of the places like here in Florida where they're moving to, all right, there's not really a lot of houses that are actually going up for sale. So what they're doing is cutting down, a lot of these trees and everything like that, and developing whole subdivisions. All right. And then and some of these people are doing these things because they can. Like, for instance, if you heard about the increase of lumber. All right. So now with the lumber, like I was just explaining, there's a mass exodus of people moving from these bigger cities that has a lot of money. They can come down here and just splurge on, buying new homes and everything like that. So, I see a lot of new homes being built, like whole entire neighborhoods getting built all at once. People upgrading their homes and everything like that. They're getting all kind of, not to say stimulus packages and things like that, but nevertheless, this is, they have a lot more spending money. So they think they're in a good case. But they don't realize that the price of these commodities are actually going up because the demand of it is going up. Again, like with the lumber, there's not necessarily a shortage of lumber, all right, because you have a lot of these, not shipping yards, lumber yards, where the lumber's just piled up out there, so they're only selling a certain amount so that they can raise the prices of these things, all right? And then you also have like shipping containers, all right? And then, it's crazy how, and this is all ultimately set up by the Most High, but, just looking into these things of how, the tools that's being used to play these things out, of how certain people are like, all right, well, we normally ship X amount of shipping containers through this here port, on a daily basis. But then once that port, you can't really unload at that port, all right? This is going to cause a lot of ships to sit out at bay for a while, all right? Causing like even food and things like that to start spoiling, all right? Then they have to wind up dumping those things and everything else like that. So these restaurant owners, I forgot what type of, I think it had to go into a tea or something like that. But there was this certain product that, like I said, they were shipping out the normal amount, all right, that they would normally ship out. It's not like these restaurants have more customers coming in, all right, so they're just shipping out the normal amount. But nevertheless, when the food can't come into the port because the ships are, sitting outside and everything like that, it winds up spoiling. So this is causing, the price of those commodities, again, to go up. All right. And like I said, man, you have to watch these, watch a couple documentaries on these new shortages that's coming up right now. But what people don't realize is going on around them, the price of everything is going up, from the food to the gas to the cost of living. All right. And then, they're giving out all this here governmental money and everything like that. But at the same time, the price of everything else is going up. All right. So sooner or later, like, I keep saying this, hey, man, everybody going to be a millionaire soon, but you ain't going to be able to afford nothing. All right. You making the most money you've ever made in your entire life and still can't afford the basic things of life, man. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into some scriptures real quick. Not making this too long, but, I was looking at this article as well earlier today, but I can't really pull up the internet right now. But nevertheless, they was going into these things about, the scarcity of a lot of things and how the price hikes are starting to hit people's pockets. All right. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Start at verse 1. It says, "Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say I have no pleasure in them. All right, because a couple years back, hey man, everybody was out there living their best life, and hey, before the pandemic, man, people was just going out splurging, doing whatever. They ain't have no cares in the world. But then once those jobs started shutting down and everything like that, man, all right, then people started like, look, oh, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna do that? Start taking from their savings, start taking from their 401ks, downsizing their homes. You have 3 generations of people. I be seeing this all the time, and we're not just talking about Jake. I'm talking about, like in a lot of the neighborhoods I work in, and these are like well off, really wealthy Edomites. I'm seeing 3 different generations from the grandparents to their kids and then their grandkids all living in one house. All right, granted, it's a pretty big house, but now you got 3 generations living in one house. All right, because look, the grandparents are living off of, they have their retirement plan with their 401ks. You have their children that are actually out there, putting forth some of the bills, and then they're raising up the kids, trying to get them to, not necessarily feel like they're falling into poverty. But this is what's going on right now. All right. It says, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, or the clouds return after the rain, and the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble and the strong men shall bow themselves. And another article I was looking at, it was about, a lot of these treasury bonds and everything like that, and about how the, how do you call it? The economic bubble is about to pop over here, man, because they're just constantly inflating this here situation, man. And this is like the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, I'm not even on any of these types of people level when it comes to economics. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, I do know about economics as far as, the opposite of what most people would say. Oh, they need to raise minimum wage. All right, you do that if you want to. You ain't going to be able to afford nothing, man. All right, you over here worried about these teenage kids working at McDonald's and they ain't making $15 an hour. Like, well, if they want to make $15 an hour, go get a more difficult job. Now, and then again, you have to think about the cost of living. Now, you trying to make $15 an hour in New York, you're not going to survive doing that, man. All right, but nevertheless, I know, places like backwoods Georgia, you could be making $15 to $18 an hour there and be at the top tier of the society out there, man. All right, you can go buy you one of the biggest houses on the block for like 80 grand out there, man. All right, but places like here in Florida, you ain't even gonna find you a house in the hood for under 100,000. All right, so you just have to take into account of these different things. But nevertheless, like I said, most people don't understand the economy and how things really work. So again, like the scriptures is going to say, they're going to think to themselves in a good case, man. They think that everything is all good, but lo and behold, everything is going up around them, man. All right. Notice how many different commercials you keep seeing on TV about, well, they're not calling them payday advances and things like that, but that's pretty much what they are, about these new type of bank accounts and debit cards that you can get, where you can get paid up to 2 days faster. All right. They had a term where people were saying, oh, we live in paycheck to paycheck. Now they living from payday advance to payday advance, man. All right. Stimulus check to stimulus check, man. All right. PPP loan to PPP loan, man. All right. They got unlimited rounds of these things going out right now. And a lot of people are actually getting caught up with a lot of this stuff, man. All right. And then even more like with the PPP situation. All right. Hey, Jake, that was the biggest damn snare. Hey, but like, it's all prophesied, man. They going to think themselves in a good case. But now all of a sudden taxes is rolling around. You was living, with governmental assistance and everything like that. And somebody had to forge your paperwork to say you made over 100,000 a year. You done got cut off of your governmental benefits. Now you got to pay taxes on some shit that you done already blown the money on. You see what I'm saying? So, hey, man, this is about to start snapping back real soon. And when it does, man, it's going to be a dramatic shakeup out here, man. All right. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble and the strong men shall bow themselves. Now, this is opposite of basically the type of people I'm talking about, because these people that I'm talking about, they don't understand the economics. They just think, oh, shit, we balling out here right now, man. Everybody got a damn Hellcat, Scat Pack. This is what Jake just going out here blowing their money on. But then you have the people like, what's that guy's name? The Kaiser Report. A lot of these economic people, Schwab, what's this other guy's name? I can't even think of his name right now. But nevertheless, these types of people where they constantly telling you like, yo, they're like screaming at the top of their lungs. It's like, yo, they have to stop doing this. They have to stop with this unlimited spending, And some people are saying, oh, well, how come they can't, print up money for this and that, with like the pandemic, oh, they got to have emergency aid. They got to do something. They got to help us. Like, what they should have did was just halted all everybody's bills and be like, yo, dog, we'll just stop all these things and, we'll, pay these companies. The government's writing checks to these companies to pay off their bills and everything. Or even if you froze every damn thing and then just restarted everything. But instead, they just writing more and more checks, which is just devaluing everything that they got going on around them, man. All right. But, Jake don't understand shit, man. All right. But it says, in the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the door shall be shut in the street when the sound of grinding is low. And this is one of the things that put a kink inside the delivery process of a lot of these goods, man. All right, you had a lot of these shipping warehouses be shut down. All right, how do I say, the price of actually shipping certain things, and even the price of shipping containers, man. Because like I said, I was watching in this documentary, and they was saying about how these shipping containers, certain sizes, was costing like $1,300. Now they're like $2,600, man. All right, so the price of just to actually ship it across seas is actually going up, man. So they got to put that, somebody got to pay for that, man. All right, and it's just trickling on down. But see, you on the other end, you know, a lot of people are shut out of their jobs, all right, for one. And two, you living off of damn stimulus checks. All right, so you don't even really have no money, but they're just raising the price of all these goods, and they're passing the bill on down to you, man. All right, but once things start getting real slim again, people are going to be just, you know, how you say, crying out for some type of relief. All right, but this is ultimately going to just make them spin into oblivion to where they have to what? Push to a how do you say, a new currency. All right, you see what these other nations are doing. They're you know, getting rid of a lot of these American bonds and things like that because of the fact that, hey, America's devaluing the fuck out of their money right now, man. All right. And not only that, it's not just affecting America, it's affecting these other countries as well, too, man. All right. This is, you know, the things that's going on with America financially, all right, has a major play on the rest of these nations around the world because America's the number one well, for one, America is a consumer nation. It's not a producer nation. We don't produce shit to sell out to these other countries and make money off of that. All right. Well, the three biggest things, or the four biggest things that America export would be like porn, guns, drugs, and entertainment. Those are their biggest exports in America, all right? And that ain't really no, I mean, they make a lot of money off of that shit. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna lie, they make a lot of money off of that shit. But it's not like that they exporting food and things like that, man. China's over here buying up a lot of these meat factories over here in America and everything like that. And people don't realize these things, man. It's like, all right, well, y'all over here talking about some going to war with them, and they the ones that control your food supply. All right, they was just having a like a fight over the farmers being able to irrigate their land and water their land, which is watering the crops, which is where the food is gonna come from, which is gonna put a shortage on the food and then just skyrocket the price of that shit, man. All right, and people don't realize how one thing affects the next thing, and the next thing affects the next thing, and then it's ultimately gonna all this weight is just gonna bear down on your back, man. All right, so and one day you're just gonna wake up and be like, damn, we can't afford nothing right now, man. How did all this happen, man? How come the price of food, the price of vegetables just skyrocket like that, man? They still got the vegetables. Well, yeah, well, we ain't had no water, so we couldn't water our fields, so we had to sit there and how you say let half of our crops wind up dying off. All right, so now the small amount that we do have, we have to sit here and sell it at a higher price. So, you know, we normally got 5 different fields that we normally pay our bills with, but we can only sell one of our fields to make, you know, try to break even for all the rest of them, man. You still got to pay your employees, man. All right. And so, hey, man, this is what's going on, which is causing a skyrocket in price of a lot of different things, man. And so, and another thing you have to understand is like when it comes to all this farming and stuff like that, man, like the shit you see in the grocery store has pretty much been harvested a whole year beforehand, man. All right. So when it comes to the next year's harvest, all right, that's when you're going to actually start filling these things, man. All right. You also have automakers that can't get microchips for their cars and things right now, so they can't even release a lot of these new cars. And another thing, man, you see these commercials where they're saying, look, man, we'll buy your car back, or we'll buy your car, trade-in value, all kind of money. They trying to get all these new cars in because they also know that they're not going to really be selling a lot of these brand new cars. People ain't got the money for it. A lot of people are buying used cars, so they're like, well, shit, we can get their trade-ins, sell that car 2 or 3 different times over, and sell these other folks these other cars, and then all of a sudden, if they wind up defaulting, we'll get the car back and sell it again, man, because more used cars are going to be selling more than these new cars, all right? But nevertheless, they can't even produce a lot of these new cars because they're lacking on the microchips, all right? A lot of your technology, they can't bring in new, release a lot of this new technology that they have, or stock the shelves with certain things like the PlayStation 5s and shit like that because they don't have the chips for them, all right? But, hey, this is all just raising the price. Hey, you see how people do it on the black market, man. A damn, I don't know how much the PlayStation costs. Let's just say it costs $500, $400 or $500, right? You got people selling these shits for $1,500, $1,600, $1,700. Why? Because of supply and demand. People can't get their hands on them, man. And these shits came out a while back. You know what I'm saying? And you still don't see them in the stores, you know? But, hey, this is what's, you know, driving the price of everything going up right now, man. The scarcity of these things, man. All right? All because there was a breakdown in the supply and demand chain, man. Or the shipping chains, man. All right? Matter of fact, let me just get to the next precepts real quick. What's that? Oh, you know what? I like quoted this twice. Second Ezra 16 and verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and mourning. All right. And this is what 2020 brought in, you know, a lot of sorrows and mourning. A lot of people lost their, all right, you know, pretty much got evicted and things like that. And then that's another thing, man. You know, you got all these people that was in the real estate that was renting homes out and everything like that, which they didn't, you know, just because they renting out a home don't mean they paid off their mortgage. They got these people that's in these homes paying off the mortgages, and these people that lost their jobs. So this mortgage, or they not collecting rent for these things. So now you got, let's say one person got about 5 different homes. So they can't pay all them damn mortgages. So guess what? Now they're getting defaulted on these things, man. All right. And so now you have these homes that's just sitting in foreclosure and things like that, man. They're trying to stop all these, how do I say, I forgot how they word it, a mematorium or something like that, to where these people don't have to pay rent at the point in time. But then again, they just passing the buck on down the road, man. All right. But then the catastrophic effects when these things start to bounce back, man. Hey, man, it's going to be devastating into the economy, man. All right. It says the beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death. All right. And that's pretty much what we're coming into. You know, famine, not just a shortage of food, but a shortage of everything, man. All right. Like I said, the shortage of water where they can't even irrigate their farms. All right. Which is leading to the amount that they can export out, which means they got to raise the price of the shit that they are exporting out, which means that the people that's buying from it can't even really buy too much of that stuff, man. All right, and recently they had a chemical plant that went down. I think it was a chlorine plant. Well, they had a couple of different ones. There was like technically there's a shortage on chlorine, a shortage on like acid. There's a shortage on I think it was chicken, ketchup packets, all these different things, man. All right, because look, and this is all being orchestrated, man. All right, because this is the end of Babylon, man. All right, this is how all these things is gonna play out, man. And we're reading about it in the scriptures. It says, verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death. All right, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? All right, and going into the beginning of wars. All right, when you spend so much and you devalue your currency so much, typically what happens at the end all be all, just like in Rome. All right, once they devalue it so much, hey man, everybody just go to war, man. Like, we can't pay that tab, man. Oh, just like they say, hey, man, you can't afford to bill it at the restaurant. You got to go in the back to do some dishes. And then their response is, fuck that. We'll fight it out. And whoever is the last man standing, that's either who gonna pay the bill to do them dishes. I'm about to get up out of here, man. And that's what typically happens when they can't borrow another dollar. They just go to war, man. America ain't gonna be paying these folks back, man. And if everybody decide to drop the American dollar, what you think America gonna do, man? To secure their global dominance, man, their hegemony. They have that position based off of how you say, the petrodollar. All right, everybody use that for oil, but see, now everybody carving a new way out because they see in America fall economically, man. It can't sustain itself no more with all this borrowing and spending that they have going on right now, man. All right. Verse 19, behold, famine and plague, tribulation, anguish are sent as scourges for an amendment. And again, like I said, man, this is what's all going on. This is what's all bubbling up around you. And most people don't even understand what's really going on, the cause and effect, man. They're being rocked to sleep because, like the scripture said, gift destroyeth the heart. So as they're printing out all this money, sending you stimulus check, you ain't even got to apply for that shit. They just going to send it to you, man. All right, everybody getting this their money. And what you see Jake out there doing, going to go buy some Louis, some Gucci, Hellcats, red bottoms, all kind of stupid shit like this. But hey, they don't realize that this is not going to last very long, man. All right, continuing on. It says, verse 19, behold, famine and plague and tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for an amendment. But for all these things, they should not turn away from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. And they don't realize, like I just said, they don't realize this is what's going on. They just going out there turning up, balling out, man. You know, 2019, they was living their best life. 2020, you know, everybody sat down and was in mourning and mournings and woe and everything like that. That's the end, man. All right. But then now 2021 come back around and now they say, oh, we about to bounce back. We about to turn up. We about to do it bigger and better than before, man. All right. But they don't realize this is the calm before the storm, man. This is the peace and safety before the sudden destruction, man. All right. This is the gift that's destroying your heart. So you don't even realize what the hell is going on, man. All right. Verse 21, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon the earth. And not just the little commodities that you pick up here and there from the store with these discounts and everything like that you see going on, and everything is on sale because you don't realize this is a lot of old shit. They trying to move and get it out because you had 2020 where a lot of things didn't really sell. All right. I can think of a couple different car companies. Normally they'll have a car like the body of a car for about 4 years, because you know the mold to be able to make the car, they have that typically for about 4 years, and they'll change the body style. But I believe it was like 2019 and 2020, certain automakers came out with a new body style of their vehicles, all right? And they only had it for 2 years. Then all of a sudden 2021 come around, they got a brand new body style already, man. All right, and they ain't even sold none of them damn 2020s, man. Look up something called channel stuffing, man. You'll see what they do to just move these products around, seem like they actually selling things, and they can go back and get a rebate off of insurance losses and things like that, man. All right, but ultimately, you know, this is you know, how it all ends. They're gonna just spin themselves into oblivion, man. All right, instead of just actually, you know, I always give this example to the point to, okay, you got some bills and everything like that, but then somebody decided to give you a payday advance. Somebody decided to give you a credit card. Yeah, you got an injection of cash, but you got to pay that back with interest. And so I got more money. I got more money. I only needed $1,000 to pay all my bills, and they gave me $5,000. So I'm going to pay my $1,000 bill. And then with the other $4,000, I'm going to go and ball out. And you don't realize, yeah, you done borrowed $5,000. You was in debt for the $1,000, couldn't even pay that shit back. You done went and blew the whole $5,000. Now you owe them $8,000, and you can't afford that shit, man. All right. Verse 21, behold, victory shall be so good, cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And so, like I was saying, man, you know, when these famines and lack of things and the dollar is devalued so much, all right, people wind up going into war, all right, after these things. All right, I'm going to read this one more, and we'll close out with that. 2 Ezra 6, and I want to say 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouse shall suddenly be found empty. All right, like I said, man, they had a lot of these farms that was producing, you know, and making all this money, but then now all of a sudden they don't have nowhere to sell their crops. A lot of these companies producing things and shipping them out. You know, they had, we was going to send tons of freight out, and, you know, all of a sudden now, you know, we ain't got nobody to buy because, you know, everything is all shut down. So all this production just came to a standstill, man. All right. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full store shall suddenly be found empty. These warehouses and shipping ports. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall suddenly be afraid. And at that time shall friends fight against one another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right, because once there's a mass shortage of things, people are going to start waking up and sobering up to like, oh shit, we're going to have to fight over this here last bag of rice. It wasn't like, you know, when you go inside the grocery store now, you know, you have like, let's say for instance, like the toilet paper, man. All right, you got an abundance of toilet paper that's on the shelf, man. You don't even need all that stuff. So you can go over there and pick it up and don't have to worry about who's on the aisle. But then when the shutdown happened, you know, everybody was like, yo, how many cars is in the parking lot? You didn't even have to see how many people was in the store, or let alone how many people was down the toilet paper aisle or anything like that. You just look at the parking lot and be like, damn, this place is packed. But you know what I'm saying? This is what it's going to all turn into, man. All right, then this is when people are going to start looking like, damn, there's a shortage on things. Things are going up. Let me go ahead and start buying more of what I need right now before the things actually start coming to pass. And then ultimately, it's just going to cause a not only a shortage, but also a how they say when they say a price gouging. All right, when people start raising the price because they realize, that, hey, these are now necessities now, man. All right, there's only a limited supply of certain things. So now, just like, you know, don't nobody need no goddamn PlayStation 5 to survive, right? But what I mean by that is, or the necessity of it is, the fact of the matter is, they don't have any more of these, or not too many of these PlayStations are actually selling or being sold because they can't keep them on the shelf, man. So people buy them up once they get, you know, once they can come into the store, they'll buy them up and resell them because they know the demand for them is way higher than the so-called supply of it, man. So there's a great need or necessity for something that, like I said, you don't need no PlayStation 5 to survive, but because there's a shortage of them, all right, because it's been, how I say, artificially created by, look, we can't really produce these chips because we had to shut down our plant. We can't really ship them like that right now because the price of shipping is actually going up, and we can't really even make a profit off of, you know, how do I say, shipping this PlayStation over there and selling it to you and still make a profit off of it. Because, you know, if we was going to make $100 off this here PlayStation 5, but we had to pay an extra $100 to ship this bad boy, an extra $200 to ship it, we're going to wind up losing $100 on every PlayStation 5 that we actually send overseas, or from them sending it over here, you know, from China to over here. So it's not very valuable for them or lucrative for them to be doing these things, man, which is, like I said, just driving the price of everything up right now, man. All right. But hey, man, this is the end all be all, man. This is the city of confusion being broken down right before your eyes, man. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that. I just want to touch in on that because I've been, looking at a couple different articles and watching and trying to figure out about this here shortage of what's really going on. Is this just man-made or created? But then when you see how everything is like a domino effect, you be like, oh shit, I see how these dominoes are falling. They're starting to fall at a faster and faster rate. But then when you look downfield, you be like, oh shit, this is gonna knock down, the pillars that's holding up the whole building, and the whole building is about to collapse, man. All right. So Lord's will, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth and ever will. And salutation and much love for Yakin and pushing his truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.